causing people to have some rather strange and ghostly experiences.
The answer could lie over 2,000 miles away. In Canada, Professor Michael Persinger is trying to understand how the human brain responds to magnetic fields. His work could help explain the phenomena at Hampton Court.
If we apply the fields in a specific sequence, we can induce the experience of a sensed presence, that there are some entities standing beside the person, the idea of someone standing nearby.
I don't feel alone. I see a face.
Well, suppose the same experiences, the same richness and vividness and feeling of a presence and something taking over your body occurred at 3 o'clock in the morning when you were by yourself in your bedroom.
Somebody just shut the lid.
Then, of course, there would be a different explanation. You wouldn't have the easy, pat explanation, well, the experimenters are doing it.
Cindy?
What?
We're coming in. Just relax, okay?
Yeah.
One thing we do know is that the experiences that we call God and mystical experiences are from the brain. And now we know we can experimentally duplicate them, at least fragments of them, in the laboratory.
So are ghosts just the brain's reaction to magnetic fields, helped by people's own imagination? It's certainly a field where hoaxers flourish. Set deep in the catacombs of Rome, this 1970s film about the supernatural hoped to prove that psychic phenomena were real. Despite all the trappings of a B-movie, many treated it as hard evidence. The séance is led by a medium, a figure who claims to contact the dead. As the spirit enters the medium's body, ectoplasm spews from his mouth. Believers say this is the spirit taking on a physical form. When the apparition appears, contact with the dead has finally been made, or so it's claimed. At the end of the ritual, the wax-like ectoplasm is burnt, supposedly to release the spirit. For centuries, people have created these illusions. And for centuries, people have believed them. Hidden in the countryside of southern England is one of the country's most notorious haunted houses. Built in the 12th century, the Ram Inn is owned by John Humphreys, who lives there with his family.
My wife and I were above a grave. I didn't know it was a grave, and my 3 little children at the other side, opposite. I was grabbed by the hands and pulled out the bed. That was the biggest fright I've ever had. I knew nothing about ghosts. I didn't know the place was haunted.
Since that day, John has got used to sharing the inn with his unusual guests.
No, they don't bother me. I think it makes life a little bit more interesting, if that's the right word. I've seen people going down the stairs, all of a sudden picked up and flung back up again. And I've seen the furniture thrown down the stairs. Now, my eldest daughter fled from here, frightened her to death.
John seems happy to leave things as they are, and the inn does attract countless ghost hunters.
Hello, John. Nice to see
Hello,
you.
Mark. Welcome to the Ram. Tom, come on in then.
Paranormal investigators Mark and Julie Hunt and colleague Dr. Paul Lee are frequent visitors to the Ram. Armed with motion detector cameras, their aim is to photograph any unusual phenomena. This time, they may be in luck.
And while our colleagues were setting up our equipment, Mark and I decided to go around the house and take random photographs. We took a couple of shots at the top of the stairs looking down.
Ghost hunters believe these glowing balls of light are the souls of the dead.
It wasn't an actual person, it was like mist, and it looked like it was trying to take the shape of something. That apparition was standing a couple of feet in front of me, so I was quite frightened, to be honest. He could have touched me, he could have walked through me, he could have walked past me.
But could it have just been flare on the lens? Tales of child sacrifice, devil worship and suicides have long been associated with the inn. Are these unquiet spirits trying to return? Mark thinks so.
One of the theories is that ghosts need energy to manifest themselves into a full human shape. So when the photograph was taken, it might have actually been in the process of going from a amorphous shape into a full figure, or there may have been a full figure there and it's going back to an amorphous shape.
It's a theory that's hard to prove, and the three want an answer. Dating from ancient times, Ouija boards are said to provide a direct line to the spirit world. Ouija means yes, yes. Users ask the spirit questions, and the answers are spelled out on the board. Psychologist Kieran O'Keefe has an explanation for what might be happening at the session.
It could be paranormal. They could be actually communicating with departed spirits. The third thing that can happen is something that Michael Faraday looked at in 1853, and that's to do with micromuscular movement. So subconsciously making your muscles move on your hands, which results in movement. He looked at it in relation to table turning, but the same sort of phenomena, physical phenomena, may be going on with Ouija boards.
Ouija boards are a favourite tool for ghost hunters, and even for the general public. In 1960s America, they outsold the board game Monopoly. Like Monopoly, are they just harmless fun and games? Richard Wiseman.
When you have a whole group of people who really expect and want to get a message that they're unconsciously pushing all of the time. And some people will be pushing in one direction towards one letter, other people will be pushing towards other letters. But at some point, without realizing it, all of those expectations line up. Suddenly, everyone is pushing in the same direction, and that will cause the planchette to suddenly move.
He said he was murdered here, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did you live in Wootton-under-Edge? No.
The line to the spirit world has been particularly clear tonight, much better than usual. Paul Lee explains.
It's been ages since I've had results this good before. Most time we just get junk, we get rubbish from the board. It spells out any combination of letters.
Julie, Richard and Paul are thrilled by their results. But what happens if you're a conventional scientist and skeptic and you see a ghost? Can you believe the evidence of your own eyes? Vic Tandy, a scientist at the University of Coventry in England, was working alone one night in his laboratory.
I started to notice